In this second part, we will extend our previous P&L experience through a new HR application and discover more functionalities based on a richer model. Let us open our new application in Tableau and explore the business case before diving in depth to the functionalities. Edward is still the manager, and Bill and Susan manage respectively the divisions A and B. The application considers all the employees among the two divisions. On the left, the K4 extension grid shows the selected employee's ID. Names and surnames come from an employees table. The following section displays on 2 lines the full-time equivalent of each employee per month. The upper line gives the budget. Only Edward can amend it, while the bottom line shows the forecast, this time also editable by Bill and Susan. Then we find the yearly gross salary and the salary calculation based on the actual presence. The following sections are based on an annual granularity. First, the management of the salary increase. Edward can enter the monthly increase when starting, but not after the deadline set in a Tableau parameter. Excel formulas in the next cells finish the job and calculate the impact on the payroll. The next column is used to enter the variable, which will also be used as an index for evaluating employee performance. Finally, the bonus columns allow the distribution of premiums, which are also part of the payroll forecast. The global forecast triggers a green or red LED depending on whether the initial budget is respected or not. We will see that a validation rule can refuse data writeback if it is exceeded. Let's now look at the added value of the spreadsheet model into Tableau. The grid is totally driven by Tableau, so that the user benefits from the security, the context, and the application collaboration, as we will see. Data entry is supported by the dashboard information and allows simulations. Once validated, the dashboard will be refreshed. And because the data is stored in a SQL database, the whole enterprise information system can be synchronized in both directions. All this without having to handle any Excel file. Let's look in detail at the impact of Tableau elements in K4's behavior. The grid adapts according to the connected user, his role, and echoes the filters, parameters, and marks activated by this user. When Bill is connected, only Division A employees are displayed. Similarly for Susan with Division B. As for Edward, he oversees all divisions and is free to filter the grid by division. Let's now combine Tableau's intelligence with that of K4 and share a bonus to the 3 best performing employees, considering their participation and their reference salary. Thanks to Tableau, it's easy to find our candidates and then enter the bonus amount. Immediately, the grid displays new columns and proposes the shared bonus for each employee calculated by a clever Excel formula. A copy-paste reports this calculation in the editable bonus column, which can then be adjusted, assisted by the conditional format of the difference column. Close the bonus calculation mode and use the context menu to comment on bonus cells. It's time to record the awarded bonuses and any comments. Disable marks to return to the list of all employees. Comments are displayed as tooltips, and all the spreadsheets in our dashboard are refreshed. Now let's look at the full-time equivalent part of the grid. First, to initialize the budget, then to refine it, and later to adjust the forecasts. K4 knows how to control the stored procedures of the SQL server, and it is ideal to initialize all budget cells at once with existing data, for example, the previous year. It is also beneficial if you have to process a large amount of data. So let's do it. For our 2019 budget, select the reference year 2018. Then select the procedure that suits us. We could go back to the previous budget, but let's take the last forecast of the same year. Confirmed. Executed. 10 or 50,000 employees, it doesn't matter. The SQL server has completed the task and the result is immediately available in Tableau. Now let's take a look at the Smart Data Entry panel to extend the powers of the spreadsheet. We first define the target of an action. As soon as multiple cells are designated by multiple selection or exclusion, the panel is activated with one click from the toolbar or context menu. Simply select cells by multiple selection and exclusion. The panel opens from the toolbar or context menu. The measures of the selected cells display their totals, as well as the subtotals of the read-only cells and the ones we chose to lock. Different actions are then proposed. Set cells to assign the same value to each selected unprotected cell. Copy from to replicate values from other data sources. Set total, which will recalculate unprotected cells to reach this new total. Allocate by, which will replicate a distribution from another data source while keeping the total. Here are some examples. With set cells, you can assign a value to all selected cells. After protecting some cells, copy the budget in the forecast from January to October. For Sandra, use an Excel formula to increment the month of January. On November and December, and a little more for Mary, allocate 80% of the budget to the forecast. These manipulations, typical of budgeting, become simple with K4. The context menu offers even more options. Data entry opens a pop-up window to input additional fields related to the selected cell. It works for values, texts, drop lists, and dates. This is perfect for entering a note or saving space in the main grid for secondary data. The overall performance will be all the better. K4 makes it possible to set the scope of a procedure to a group of cells defined by multiple selection. The context menu can accommodate multiple procedures, just like in the toolbar for global procedures. Let's project the power of K4 just by combining these last two functions. Select a cell, add secondary data to it with data entry, then execute a procedure that performs a complex calculation at the SQL Server level, accessing different tables, and finally restoring the calculation in the cell. Calculation already saved. In corporate applications beyond security, K4 must also provide traceability. The history of each cell modification can be activated for the desired measures. The context menu then displays the audit trail. To conclude and illustrate again the awesome synergy that K4 Analytics brings between Tableau, Excel, and the SQL databases, let's go back to the global procedures in the menu bar, where a stored procedure will make it possible to shorten the audit trail, just keeping the period that you need to control. Finally, with the K4 extension, our Tableau HR application allows you to create and manage the budget, forecast, and the salary increases, to distribute the bonuses, and to measure the impacts. In a multi-user context, role management and data security ensure a smooth deployment in the enterprise.